Water and Sanitation Minister Pemmy Majodina is taking stock of the first 100 days of her being in office. That briefing has started. Let's listen in.
Building on the solid foundation that was built and accelerated during the 6th administration. The country, in terms of water balance, the country is fine. I know this question always comes, are we safe? What is the water security in the country? I am saying the country in terms of water is well balanced, but there is a localized deficit, especially coming from Gauteng province as well as Ethekwini municipality. Reasons being that the growing population in the two areas, Gauteng province and Ethekwini, the growing population, the growing economy, the non-revenue water, the decay infrastructure, it also play into the crisis where these areas might not have water. Hence, we have applied certain measures to ensure that there is no water that is cut altogether. The department is currently undertaking water sector reforms, which are aligned to Operation Vulindlela program led by the President. Operation Vulindlela aims to modernize and transform network industries. With regard to the water sector, its focus include, amongst others, the President has signed the National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency. When we met with you in August, we said we are waiting for the President to assent that bill into law. It has now been signed into law, and that law now, it assists us to amalgamate Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, the water trading entity, as well as our branch in the construction branch in the Department of Water and Sanitation. The function of this National Water Resource Infrastructure Agency is to ensure that it includes going out to markets for finances, because you are aware, ladies and gentlemen, that the fiscus is unable to fund all the water resource projects, and therefore, according to the Act, we are allowed to go out and approach financial markets. So this agency is going to do exactly that, to ensure that there is operation, maintenance, and national water treaties that are signed and that are administered and monitored throughout. The establishment of the remaining catchment management agency. You will remember that we outlined that there is a Water Service Act that it dictates to us that we must establish management agencies, and we have done that. Out of 6 expected, we have already established 5 catchment management agencies, and they are gazetted. The recruitment process for the final 6 catchment agency was completed, and the board will be appointed shortly. All other 5 are covered. Improving turnaround time for the issuing of water use license. We have been attacked several times that DWS take long to issue licenses, water licenses, but we made a commitment that we are going to come up with a turnaround, and indeed there is a turnaround. Licenses are now issued within 90 days compared to 3 months that we used to do. In September 2024, the department processed 73% of licenses application within the 90 days. This is significant improvement from 62% processed within 90 days on an average during the 2022-2023. So there is fast tracking of that. Reform on municipal water sanitation services. Through the amendment of Water Services Act, the department seeks to address the underlying structural causes of widespread deterioration of municipal water services. I've interacted with a lot of media houses, and thank you very much for putting our people on the light of saying what is really happening in the water sector. I said our mandate is that of water resource management, is that of regulation, but when it comes to water provision, it is the mandate of municipalities as enshrined in Section 27 of the Constitution. And that Constitution says we as a department can play a supporting role to the municipalities. But the crisis and the lack of water access to our people is caused by lack of provision of that water through the mandate by municipalities across the country. So we are engaging on municipalities. So this amendment that we're talking about here today, it's going to assist us to provide and meet the minimum capability requirement of the public comments received during this public consultation process. And the draft amendment bill is already been sent to the Chief State Law Advisor, and we have received a lot of contribution from the ordinary citizens, because everyone is interested on the issue of water, as we understand that water is critical, water is life. The Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority. During these 100 days, the department and the entity, the Trans-Caledon Tunnel Authority, continued with implementation of the 14 major national water infrastructure project at a cost approximately of 100 billion, aimed at securing raw water security, because we have that mandate of ensuring that we build and secure raw water security for the country. I outlined about 14 projects during our first briefing. Today, we want to say that TCTA has gone out to financial markets, and already we have started the process of Lesotho Highlands Phase 2 to supply additional water for Gauteng and surrounding areas, which amount to 42 billion, 28 billion construction of a new dam and transfer tunnel of Umkomazi River in KwaZulu-Natal. On the 7th, we'll be visiting this project, because there is a lot of work that has already been done here that will assist to give more capacity to Ethekwini Municipality, Ugu, and other surrounding municipalities. The 6.5 billion raising of the wall of Klein Willem Dam in the Western Cape. When we raise the dam, people think that we are not doing anything because we are not building a new dam. You raise the capacity. So people want to see us starting a new dam. So we also have a right to raise dam when we see that the capacity of that dam is not enough in terms of providing raw water. There is a 750 million raising of the wall of Zanin in Limpopo. The department also continued with all its maintenance activities on national water infrastructure. The Lesotho Highlands Project Tunnel. A planned maintenance, as we reported to the media some time ago, that a planned maintenance operation of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project Tunnel, which entailed a total shutdown, commenced on the 1st of October 2024. We visited the tunnel just a week before the tunnel was shut down to ensure that all was in a good order that we can now close down. We engaged all municipalities that are benefiting out of the Lesotho tunnel. We met with our counterparts in Lesotho and we ensured that nobody is going to suffer during these 6 months. The water storage that we have go beyond 6 months up to 9 months. However, we want to deliver this maintenance plan within 6 months. We don't want to go to 9 months. We have also drilled boreholes around those areas of the municipalities, the Ngetwane municipality Mafube, Ditlabeng, as well as made provision that when dam level of Val goes down in terms of the water capacity, we are going to release water from other dams like the Sterkfontein Dam and other surrounding dams to ensure that there is no lack of water during this maintenance. Specific work has already taken place on Friday the 15th. We are also inviting media. Will be touring that tunnel because already the work is happening there. So I want to ensure that it will be now on the 15th. It will be a month after we have shut down the tunnel. So we want to go there and check progress. We wish to ensure all citizens in affected municipalities that there is sufficient water storage for the next 6 months and that they will continue to have access to water during the entire shutdown period. On Sunday River Conveyance Canal, there has been a cry around Nelson Mandela Gqeberha. A carefully coordinated 24-hour per day maintenance project on the Sundays River Conveyance Canal was successfully implemented by the department on the canal over a week during July, without causing significant disruption to water supply to Nelson Mandela Gqeberha and to the farmers. The canal shutdown was successfully undertaken to ensure reliability and sustainability of water supply to users. The work done included the demolishing of existing canal at the upstream and downstream and surface preparation. The launch of anti-pollution forum. On the 3rd of October, the ministry launched an anti-pollution forum to coordinate efforts to improve water quality in the Vaal River system. But it is not only on the Vaal River system. Our rivers are polluted across the country, so we'll be continuing to launch this anti-pollution forum. The ministry carried out the oversight visit to Springfontein Farms in Kopanong local municipality in Free State to assess the state of sewage pollution of the rivers, which was eventually affecting the agricultural activities. In the Msukalikwa local municipality in Mpumalanga province, the purpose of the oversight visit was to assess the impact of the pollution of water resources, especially in the Vaal River system. The Middle Letaba water challenges in Limpopo. Another regularity responsibility of the department is to ensure that water user licenses conditions are adhered to. In this regard, the ministry appointed an independent panel to investigate the irregularities that are happening there. We have appointed the judge, the retired judge, Bernard Ngwepe, to investigate allegations of overuse of water by farmers in the Middle Letaba catchment area, upstream of the Middle Letaba. The investigation commenced in July and it will be finalized in due course. And I want to make a call to all those who are farmers, those who are owning dams, that no one is allowed to illegally store water and hogging, especially that is going to impact on the people that are in the downstream. So if you have a water license, if you are running a farm, make sure that when you use water, you allow other people to use water. Don't block water. Dam collapse in Swartland municipality in the Western Cape. One of the department's responsibility is regulation and the safety of dams. The media will remember that in August, during those heavy rains, 4 dams failed in Riverlands. And during these 100 days, we went there to view those dams, to assess the dams, and our findings were made public that all the 4 dams were not registered. And they've caused a huge damage to municipality and its infrastructure, as well as to communities. The preliminary report of our investigations found that original owner of the farm who built the dams failed to obtain legal required approval from the department for the design of the dams, and that subsequent owners failed to register the dams in the department. Following the release of the investigation report, the department issued a directive to the current owner of the dam to safely decommission all the 4 failed dams. All those dams are on the stream. So you might not see the dams when you are walking passing by Riverlands, because they have blocked the stream to build those dams. We are also making a call, as we did in August, that all those who are owners of the dams with no registered licenses, they must apply. Failing to do that, we are going to decommission all the dams. Jahasfontein Tailing Dam in the Free State. The media made a lot of coverage on Jahasfontein when this happened. The department completed its comprehensive technical investigation into the 2022 failure of the Jahasfontein Tailing Dams in the Free State, which resulted to 3 deaths and 1 person missing, as well as extensive damage to public and private property. The report has been submitted to the National Prosecuting Authority following the laying of criminal charges against the dam owners by the department during the 2022. If there is no compliance, we have a right to lay criminal charges, especially if there is no cooperation from those who are owning the dams. Tourism and recreation works along the dams. Dams can be good in terms of economic growth, and therefore we have made a request for expression of interest issued by us as a department for proposal to develop tourism and recreation related to department's dam was finalized, and 300 applications have been received. We are processing those applications because certain people want to build recreational facilities next to our dams so that they can make those dams user-friendly to ordinary people. Water and sanitation challenges in Gauteng. For the past month, we have been inundated with calls when we restricted water to Gauteng. And I've been asked about my comment when I said, this is a self-inflicted pain. Yes, I repeat, it is a self-inflicted pain by municipalities of Gauteng, because we want the municipalities of Gauteng as early as June to say, please take care of your water infrastructure, because you are losing a lot of water. It is important to state that there is no drought in Gauteng. However, the province is experiencing water security challenges, which include credit management issues, water losses, aging infrastructure, illegal connections, illegal mining, and servitude encroachment. The Ministry of Gauteng and the provincial government have intervened to address the challenges by calling on all municipalities in Gauteng to impose water restrictions. Hence, Gauteng is on water restriction level 1. Upgrading of the infrastructure by all municipalities, strict credit management system, ensure proactive governance, and exploring alternative water sources around Gauteng. And I must confirm here to you media houses present that the Premier of Gauteng, the MEC, and all municipalities were meeting on a weekly basis to ensure that we adhere to all the water restrictions, but also municipalities are responding very positive in terms of closing the leaks and disconnecting the illegal connections and enforcing the bylaws. Hammanskraal, you all know what happened in Hammanskraal. On the 24th of August, the ministry visited Hammanskraal to oversee the 750 million project being implemented as part of our intervention on what happened in Hammanskraal. We are doing this through Magalies Water Board to enable provision of clean, safe and drinking water. The project involves the construction of additional water treatment capacity in the Magalies water treatment works near Hammanskraal. The ministry also carried out a site inspection in Rooival water waste treatment works to review the progress of the municipality's project to refurbish the work. On the 16th of November 2024, the department will be launching phase 1 of this project of Hammanskraal. It was supposed to happen by end of October, but there are few snags that we're attending to. Hence, we are launching the phase 1 on the 16th of November. That will give provision of additional 125 megalitres. You'll remember that these come in phases. So there are about 4 phases in that project. So the first phase is the one that will be handing over on the 16th, the next Saturday. Mfuleni. On the 25th of August 2024, the ministry carried out an oversight visit to Mfuleni local municipality, where the department, through Rainwater, is implementing 7.5 billion intervention in terms of Section 63 of Water Service Act to address the sewage pollution from the municipality's wastewater treatment system. As a result of our intervention, the number of frequency of sewer spillages into the street and the people's home has been significantly reduced. Work is continuing to completely eradicate sewage pollution in the municipality. A special purpose vehicle by the Rainwater and Mfuleni local municipality is in a process of being established to ensure that by the time we pull out as a department, there must be an entity that works with municipality, which is called a special purpose vehicle, to ensure that they sustain what we have done and ensure that the sewer spillages are no more day-to-day activities of that area. Gauteng water imbizo. Having said a lot about Gauteng, we also held of imbizo with all mayors and municipal managers and CFOs of Gauteng. We are focusing on Gauteng because of the Gauteng is a mega province that has economic, which is an economic hub of the country, and there is no way that we can ignore Gauteng. The administration of government is here, so we had to give focus to Gauteng. The population is growing day by day in Gauteng. So hence, we made it a point that an agreement was then reached on the causes of the water supply, which I've already alluded to. We further created a platform for water secure Gauteng, which is the theme that is driven by the Premier of Gauteng, Premier Panyaza, of which we are very thankful to have such cooperation from them. The platform is currently raising funds which will be used for a major public communication and awareness campaign in the province regarding the need to use water sparingly. Water supply and sewage pollution challenges in Ethekwini. During this period of 100 days, the DG, Dr. Phillips, chaired the water and sanitation work stream of the presidential Ethekwini working group. You'll remember when Ethekwini had some challenges, the president had to intervene and appointed a presidential Ethekwini working group. So that working group is turning the situation around in ensuring that Ethekwini is also compliant. The department, the TCTA and Umngeni Utugela Water Board are all playing important roles in assisting the city to address its water supply and sanitation challenges, including the construction of Umkomazi water that will be visiting on the 7th. The construction of the Ngwadini Dam and a new water treatment plant at the lower Umkomazi River by the water board. But also we have handed over the Halzemir dam water upgraded by the department to meet water needs of the growing population of the north coast of Ethekwini, which we raised with a wall with 7 meters to increase the storage capacity and to augment water supply. It will increase water supply in Ethekwini, in Ilembe, as well as Kwatukusa. Water boards. One of the first priorities of the ministry on assuming office was to meet with all 7 boards. Remember, we had 9 boards, but 2 boards went bankrupt and they had to be dissolved. So now we have 7 boards. As of 24 June 2024, a debt owed by the municipalities in our water board was standing at 22 billion. 2 water boards, namely the Val Central and Mahalis, were experiencing cash flows problems due to non-payment by municipality as they were facing bankruptcy. The ministry is keenly aware that ensuring the financial sustainability of the water sector is one of the paramount importance to support economic growth and achieve reliability and sustainability of water supply. We had to address this matter by ensuring that we call all premiers, all mayors, all municipalities that are owing the water boards, province by province. All these municipalities, as I speak now, they have committed on the payment cycle. They are paying their invoices, whilst they have huge amounts that they are owing. But now there is a political will to pay and to service their debts, something that was not there before we came to the department, because municipalities were just ignoring all the invoices. We are also engaging with the department, with COCTA as well as National Treasury, that all municipalities who are not paying their invoices, they must not get their equitable share up until they pay those invoices. We're also making a call to all national departments, provincial departments, and entities who are owing municipalities, because municipalities are also owed, but also the user pay policy must also be implemented. Those who are using water must pay for the services that they get. The debts are a problem of 6 out of 7 water boards, but we have received cooperation from all premiers across the country. During these first 100 days, engagements were held with Limpopo, Free State, Northern Cape, Northwest, and Eastern Cape province. I'm not raising Western Cape. Western Cape does not have a lot of challenges in terms of payment, but also these provinces, there are municipalities that are servicing their debts who are not really owing our water boards. But the danger is that in Free State, most of municipalities of Free State are owing water boards. There's a municipality that owes water board close to 7 billion, one municipality. And if the water board collapses, it's not only going to affect that Machabeng water board, Machabeng local municipality, but it is going to affect the entire Free State, because the water board will be unable to process water for the entire Free State, for Northern Cape, and some part of Northwest. That is why we had to take this upon ourselves to ensure that we engage direct with municipalities and with the National Treasury and COCTA. Support to municipalities to improve water services. On the 17th of September, the ministry launched 260 million upgrade in the James Cleanance water treatment works in Makana local municipality. Makana local municipality has been embedded for years with lack of water access. Even last week, I think I saw some news report about Makana. We handed over this state-of-the-art treatment plant. It involved increasing the capacity of the municipality water treatment works with 10 megaliters per day, which aim at reducing the supply disruption in Makana. Those who attend the National Arts Festival, you will know that during that time you might not get water in Makana. So we're also responding to all the cries from the business sector as well as from our communities. 1 billion project in Nelson Mandela Bay. Nelson Mandela has been known of a lot of leaks. You'll remember the war on leaks was launched in Nelson Mandela, whilst he has not really assisted us at the time. The ministry also launched the completion of the first phase of the 1 billion project to reduce non-revenue water in Nelson Mandela Ekabeja. With the support of the department, the municipality secured funding for the project through the budget facility for infrastructure in National Treasury. And the funding is managed by the department through the regional bulk infrastructure grant. The project involves the installation of pressure-reducing valves, repairs of major leaks, water pipes, as well as installation of water meters, something that was not there. Through this 1 billion project intervention, we have achieved that. Joe Kabi. We visited Joe Kabi, Singu municipality, as well as Walter Sisulu municipality. The reason was to assess the capacity of state-spread water treatment plant, which is dysfunctional. The department is currently repurposing its budget to upgrade and refurbish the water treatment works for 2024-2025 financially. In the long term, the department is undertaking feasibility study for additional water treatment plant. What was hurting there is that there are people who vacated their land and sites to ensure that the dam is built. There's a big dam there, Hulu Hlahatsi Dam, but 4 to 6 villages around that area where the dam is, they are not getting water. That is the same pain with Nandoni. The area of Vembe, where the dam is, people who vacated the area, they are not getting water. Instead, they are saying to me, they are benefiting mosquitoes because of the dam. They are benefiting cold because of the dam. They are benefiting crocodiles because of the dam, and it cannot be on. So we have agreed that that must be attended to. We must ensure that our value chain in terms of water resource must be from the source up to the tap, to ensure that when we are done with the dam, we must ensure that the municipality is able to connect. But the first and people that must be prioritized are those people that are just around the dam, so that there can be stability. Giyani Water Project in Limpopo. On the 6th of September, the ministry and the deputy president, Mr. Paul Mashatile, carried out an oversight visit to the notorious Giyani Water Project that has been spoken about for many years. The project was blocked, but we agreed that whilst the investigations are happening, let's unblock the project. Let people not suffer because of fraud and corruption allegations that happened in the past. Let's proceed with this mega project. The project consists of construction of a bulk raw water pipeline from Nandoni Dam in the north of Giyani to Nsami Dam in Giyani, as well as the refurbishment and upgrading of the municipal water treatment works in Giyani. The project also includes the construction of 325 kilometers of bulk pipelines to supply water from Giyani water treatment to the villages in Giyani. It further includes reticulation of water by Mupani District Municipality to 55 villages around Giyani, of which the first phase of 24 villages to date, reticulation to 11 out of 24 villages have been completed, and these villages are now receiving water in their yards. We do have a program that is called In-Yard Connection, working with municipalities. Whilst there are still people who are getting water from standpipes, but we also have the project that is called In-Yard Connection to avoid illegal connection, because illegal connection make people to block water for others not to get. The remaining 13 of the 24 villages will be completed by December 2024. The second phase of this will be reticulated for the 31 villages by April 2025. The ministry has given a directive to the department to prioritize funding of regional bulk infrastructure grant and the water service infrastructure grant. And the MIG must therefore address through the 10%, ensure that they ring fence for this to be achieved. Water complaints from communities. During these 100 days, we have received more than 250 complaints on a daily basis from communities across the country regarding water security issues. Most of the complaints are about water-related functions of municipalities, such as pipe bursts, leakages, water tankering, disruptions in supply of water, shortage of boreholes, water diversions by farmers, and water pollution. The ministry and department have promptly responded to such complaints using different approaches, such as involving the municipalities concerned and performing oversight functions, which include physical visit and referrals to the relevant authorities. We urge all communities to use our call center for us to be able to know their water challenges. The call center, which is 0800 200 200. On international front, the ministry attended the session on the water as part of the 79th session of the United General Assembly 23rd to 30th of September in New York. The focus was on mobilizing funding to address the water infrastructure investment gap in Africa. All countries, without any exception, they cry of a gap in terms of funding of water infrastructure. South Africa has submitted application to a water investment program facilitated by African Union for funding for major projects. The water investment program is supported by development finance institutions such as African Development Bank, Development Bank of South Africa, as well as the World Bank. There was also focus on preparation for the Africa Water Infrastructure Investment Summit, which will be hosted by South Africa on behalf of the AU in 2025. This is part of the GU leaders meeting, which will be hosted in South Africa, given that South Africa will be taking over presidency in the G20 group of countries in 2025. The ministry led a delegation of South African water sector and water boards, Lesotho Highlands Commission TCTA, to Stockholm World Water Week in Sweden. Barizimela nesimogo sayo hayi kunzima apha twakahoywa apha makuhlela amadoda. Thank you very much. In August, that Stockholm conference was in August 2024. The purpose of the visit was to influence global agenda on achievement of SDG 6 and position of South Africa as a preferred destination for investment in water and sanitation, as well as learning from the global community at large. During the Water Week, the ministry was in Denmark to strengthen the South Africa-Danish Strategic Water Sector Collaboration Program. Danish counterparts presented the Africa's Century Strategy for strengthening the Danish engagement with African countries. South Africa is in the priority of implementation strategy. Approximately 300 million DKK, which is 800 million, has been allocated to the implementation of the strategy. Areas of cooperation for South Africa and Denmark include water use efficiency in industries, urban water management, and groundwater management. During these 100 days, the ministry also held bilateral engagement with counterparts from Namibia, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Eswatini, and Mozambique, because we are sharing rivers. And when we are sharing rivers, these are natural resources. We must all tap in these rivers. There's no one that must monopolize the river. We were in Egypt, where the issue of the Nile River is a political issue. And in SADC, I think we are very much fortunate that we understand that this is a water resource which cut across countries, and the water resource will not negotiate or seek for political mandate to cross your country. And when it crosses your country, you cannot block the river. You must allow other people to use the river. In conclusion, as the ministry, we are satisfied that the ministry of and the department made significant progress towards addressing the pressing challenges in water sector during these first 100 days. However, as long as communities in the rural areas, in the townships, don't get water on a daily basis, we cannot think that we've done our work. Whilst it is not our mandate, we must also put pressure on municipalities to ensure that municipalities do the right thing. They discharge on their mandate. The ministry and the department will continue to work with all stakeholders to address the challenges collaboratively. Water is life and sanitation is dignity. And all citizens of South Africa are called upon to treat water as a precious resource and use it sparingly. We are calling on all municipalities to implement the implementable, which is close the leaks, disconnect illegal connections, enforce bylaws, correct billing. If those 4 things can be adhered to by municipalities, then people will be able to get water. We're also calling for all citizens to use water sparingly. Let's not vandalize our water infrastructure. If you see a tap that has not been closed, just close the tap. That is your patriotic role as a South African. Those who are in Gauteng, when we have because we have put Gauteng on level 1 restriction, don't use hosepipe to wash your car. Don't unnecessarily just wash during the day, wash your pavement. Don't fill the swimming pools during the day. There are certain times when to fill your swimming pool. We're also making a call that all those who are polluting our rivers, they must stop it. They must stop polluting our rivers, and we are going to ensure that we report criminal case against them when they continue to pollute, but also they are going to pay for polluting our rivers. Those who have not registered their dams, we have a mandate and responsibility of demolishing those dams. So save yourself if you have a dam, and don't come closer to us, because if you don't adhere to registration of your dam, we'll come and demolish that dam. All of us as South Africans, as we move towards the festive season, we must use water sparingly. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much. I present the 100 days report. Thank you.
All right, Pemmy Majodina, the Water and Sanitation Minister there, speaking in Pretoria, taking stock of the first 100 days of her being in office. It was quite a lengthy statement, but as always, we'll bring you some of those salient points. First of all, the minister opened that address by saying there is no water issue. In fact, the exact words that she used is, the country's water balance is fine. I'll be honest, from my vantage point, I'm not sure what that means, but I suggest, I imagine there's going to be a lot of reaction to that given the many water-related issues we've seen across the country. She has nonetheless singled out Gauteng and Ethekwini having particular, being areas of concern, I beg your pardon. In fact, she says Gauteng is experiencing water security challenges, and that is to do with funding, aging infrastructure, and making sure ultimately that they're able to meet demand. What I also thought is important is that she's highlighted issues to do with water boards. These institutions are crucial with coordinating things like upgrading infrastructure at a municipal level. She says 22 billion rand are owed to these 6 water boards, and that's a staggering figure. And in an attempt to try and ensure that municipalities pay up, she's warned that they might be in a situation where they may have to withhold the equitable share of municipalities until they actually settle some of their debts, which I think is quite a drastic step. You might remember the Jagersfontein tragedy. It took place a couple of years ago where the dam wall tailings actually burst. Several people died. I think the death toll was around 3, with some people missing. Scores of people's homes completely devastated by that muddy water that blanketed that entire community. What the department has started to do now is actually lay criminal charges against the owners of that dam. The NPA apparently has the report into their own investigation. And she says in the first 100 days, they also logged on average 250 complaints per day from communities who are worried about a whole myriad of water-related issues. So there's a lot to be said about whether or not, in fact, we're able to get to the bottom of these issues in a country like ours. Warnings, perhaps, that what we're seeing with the electricity crisis may very well become a water-related issue some years ahead if we aren't able to get to solving those problems. So we'll continue listening into that briefing. As soon as there's anything else that's important, we'll bring it to you here on the SABC News Channel.